If you've been considering the BMW X7, but you feel like you want something just a little bit more, well, we're taking a look at it today on Driving Sports TV. This is the 2021 BMW Alpina XB7. It's a bespoke version of BMW's popular people mover that brings new levels of form and function to the luxury SUV segment. A car maker in its own right, Alpina works with BMW to create special Autobahn-blazing versions of its vehicles. Where M editions are tuned for the track, Alpina works to improve both performance and luxury, resulting in a unique automotive experience that is cherished by BMW enthusiasts around the globe. Now, let's get into this $154,095 BMW Alpina XB7. Under the hood is a tuned version of BMW's bi-turbo 4.4-liter V8, producing up to 612 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. That's 89 more than the standard X7 M50i can muster. It's connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission running Alpina-specific software. xDrive manages power to all four wheels, along with an M Sport differential in the rear. Active steering can rotate the rear wheels up to 2.3 degrees for a tighter turning radius and smoother lane changes at speed. EPA rates this vehicle at 15 miles to the gallon in the city and 21 on the highway. One of the most distinctive Alpina changes are the trademark 20-spoke 23-inch wheels wrapped in Pirelli P0 tires. Considering these tires, this is not an SUV designed to climb mountains, but we'll get back to that later in this episode. In the back is a tow hitch receiver with connections. The XB7 has a maximum tow rating of up to 7,500 pounds. That's roughly 1,500 more than the standard X7 M50i. The back gate is a clamshell design with a lower section getting its own buttons. This makes it really good for tailgating. Under the floor is a cargo screen storage slot and various tools. We couldn't find the XB7 specific cargo capacity data, but it does look very similar to the BMW X7 it's based on. That has 11.5 cubic feet behind the third row, 48.6 cubic feet with the final row folded, and up to 90.4 cubic feet total storage with all the seats down. In the back, you also get a 12-volt DC power outlet. Closing both doors is as easy as a push of a button. The second row has been enhanced with the $2,200 rear screen option. Is it worth it? Let's take a look. Okay, back seat. Let's try this out. Oh, this is nice. I even have power adjustments in the second row, which is almost unheard of. Oh, hello. On the left here, I can control the screens. And in fact, I can control all the screens in the back from this position. I can do the one on the right, I can do the one on the left, I can even do a little one back there for the third row. And of course I can control the main panorama sunroof as well. And that just tells you this is truly an executive sedan because the owner may be in the second row. So of course you're gonna have all the controls. And beyond all the window stuff, you also get a screen. Now, this screen is a replica of what is up front. I have the same kind of multi-segment view. I can go to navigation. I can look at current traffic conditions. Can I input a search? I think I can. Yes, let's look for Cafe Ladro. By the way, people, yes, I know that Cafe Ladro is spelled with two Fs. I purposefully do it with one F, so that we can see if the system can fix it for us. Of course, the misspelling that I use doesn't matter for verbal searches. So when it fails a verbal search, that's on it. Still searching. Ah, there we go. And it did find it along with the Yelp listing. It says it's going to be 14 minutes to get there at 5.4 miles because it is rush hour somewhere. Okay, let's push that. Go there. We can look at weather. It's not the quickest system, but it is kind of nice to be right here. And the screen is just gorgeous. It's beautiful color, nice resolution, just what you want in a display. rear display. I can change interior lighting up here. I can even change the color of the lighting. Oh boy, don't tell my kids. It's going to be a light show in here. Dynamic light, so many options. I love it when you can kind of control the car from the second row. And of course there are apps. I never use car apps because they're usually pretty slow. I don't think this will be an exception. I'm not even going to bother because I have yet to be impressed by any of those. Okay, so that's the basic gist of it here. Not only do we get aircon with 3 stages of seat, we also get a disc player. That's right. And if you want to input other devices, there's both USB-C as well as HDMI. And below that, we get 2 more USB-C sockets as well as a 12-volt. Oh yeah, this is nice. Although adults won't normally sit in the third row, it is a physical possibility. So I think we need to try it out. Let's see if this thing is a death trap or not. Which button do I need? Let's do that one. Nope. Folding my seats, never mind. The buttons are not entirely clear here. Do I need to reach here? Okay. And cross my legs, or that could be deadly. Okay, so it's within an inch of my knees. I can sit back here. My head is not actually hitting the ceiling, which is kind of shocking. I do get a cup holder, and then I also have my own USB-C socket, actually on both sides. Further, I get my own third row aircon, and yes, even the third row is heated. You know, this isn't too horrible. I'm sitting completely upright. This seat is as far back as it can go. I am not dying back here. And that's great. Can I get out? That's another question. See, I'm holding the button. Okay, what am I missing here? Oh, there we go. I gotta wait for the seats to do their thing. I'm not a fan of this powered setup, honestly. And I gotta like reach. Okay, I think we're done here. Let's move on up front. Where do you even start on a car with this many features? Let's start with what we're seeing here, the materials. The leather here is some of the finest you will ever put your fingers on. And look at this, this is suede. This is actual suede headliner. Oh man, this is pretty. And then as I'm looking around, I'm noticing that there's actually additional speakers in the ceiling as part of the Bowers & Wilkins high-end sound system. Wow, speakers are everywhere. Speaker, 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 speaker. That's a lot of speakers. The seats are cushioned and oh, so comfortable. Of course, I have electronic adjustment. Oop, I can even put something under my thighs here, which is nice. Of course, a car at this price does include seat massagers. I had to dig deep into the menus to find the configuration options, but ultimately was rewarded with a decent little back rub. At that moment, I realized there's a button right on the door. Now, can you do touchscreen? Yes, but I prefer to use the controller if I can. It just looks nicer. I hate getting fingerprints and scratches on my main display. And the display here is really pretty, just like we saw in the second row. It's high quality, nice color, excellent resolution. You can even customize the layouts a little bit as you go through the different panels, everything from news to weather. Let's look at what weather is today. Yeah, even though it's completely sunny, not really many clouds in the sky, there is still a 2% chance of rain. And then everything is actually pretty easy to access. BMW's done a good job of including hard buttons for most of the functions that you would ever need, from this massage to the seat saving settings, aircon, which is right here. You even get pre-programmed settings here, and a traditional volume knob. Of course, if you don't want to use tradition, but you want to use goofy features, you can gesture in space. I think that's a silly feature, especially because I move my hands a lot when I talk, which very often will throw to the next radio station. I am kind of faking it right now, but this is something that actually happens while I'm talking. So yeah, this has gestures control. Yeah, it's absolutely silly and not something I think I would ever use. Where was I? All right, buttons. So down here we have not just the crystal-laden Alpina controller for iDrive, we also have, of course, BMW's interesting choice of controllers. I've gotten used to it now though, and it's okay. You hold the lock button on the left to go into reverse, you just pull it to go into drive, you go left, and then you get a manual override. Along it, you get all the different drive modes from sport, comfort, adaptive, and then you also have a hill descent control button right there, which we will try out later. Additionally, this does have height adjustable suspension. It will adjust depending on your drive mode, or you can override it with this rocker switch over here. The standard ride height of the XB7 is 8.4 inches. Ride height can be adjusted within a few seconds with the air suspension. Sport mode specifically drops it up to 1.4 inches. Of course, the rear view display also provides surround view functionality as well as a nice backup camera. There is an automatic parking option as well as a backup assist option. I never really like the automatic parking. Like right now it's telling me parking sensors are dirty. Did you see the exterior of this car? There might be some dust on them, but it's not that dirty. So this interior is just amazing, and yeah, the BMW engagement with buttons and dials and all that stuff does take a little while to get used to. However, if you're the owner of a $160,000 SUV, I think you can spend a little bit of time to get used to that. Under here, we also have cup holders as well as a wireless charger. And of course, the question is, does it have wireless CarPlay or does it have regular CarPlay? Now that we've plugged it in, we just bump over to apps, and here we have CarPlay, Android Auto, as well as all of the BMW apps. Let's go ahead and click on CarPlay. Selected vehicle data is sent to your CarPlay device. Yes, confirm. Please ensure the device is visible via Bluetooth. Okay. Device is nearby. There it is. We'll click down here. It's going to pair. Yes, that number is correct. Sure, I'll allow you to sync everything. I'll just wipe it when I'm done. Use CarPlay wirelessly. And it's connected. So one thing that I prefer with some other systems is you just plug it in and it prompts you on your phone, and there you go. This one I had to go into the app screen to configure the wireless setup, but that really wasn't so bad. Now I can unplug and I have CarPlay. I'll go ahead and stash my phone up there on the wireless charger, close it up, and we're off to the races. Once we're in Apple CarPlay, I can either use the controller to make my selections, or I can manually use it like I would traditionally do. Now, the one thing that I am noticing here is this display. Did I say how pretty this display is? Because, wow, seeing Apple CarPlay on it, this is how Apple CarPlay should be experienced. Fills the screen, the colors and the resolution are simply amazing. And then, of course, I can find my nearest coffee house, really easy. Go to Victor's Coffee.
Getting directions to Victor's Celtic Coffee and Roasters.
And now let's see how well the built-in system does the same search. Oh, there's a nav button. Where to? Let's go to, let's use that.
Please speak after the tone.
Victor's Coffee.
Okay, I've selected Victor's Coffee.
Have you? Have you really? Because I'm not seeing it yet. I'm seeing a search option. There we go. Boom, found it. And off we go. That was about as quick, I would say. I love it when the built-in systems are as good as Apple CarPlay, and you know, Android Auto is also really good. So you got lots of options here. The maps are high resolution. They give you the actually the Google satellite overview, which just is so cool. It's just so cool. And I can zoom in using the controller here. That's neat. Okay, wow, what else do we talk about? Oh yeah, the center cluster here. BMW has a very unique look with their digital display. And I think it's actually a really nice looking system, but there's not a lot of customization like you can get in some other systems. Basically, it'll change slightly depending on your drive mode and you can change some of the sections a little bit, but it's mostly all the same. If you're into customizations, this isn't a great display. However, as far as providing all the key essential information in an easy read format, yeah, it does that. It even integrates maps into the center section, which makes them really easy to view. I don't have to keep them up here. I can keep them just right here. So, of course, this is also a very sporty car. So does it have paddle shifters? Yeah, kinda. There's push buttons and a big plus and a minus. These are the stupidest paddle shifters I've ever seen. They're literally buttons. Oh, who thought that was a good idea? Ugh. In terms of active safety, yeah, just because this is a luxury barge doesn't mean that it's not fully equipped. Hit the button right here and we can see all the intelligent safety stuff that is optional here. So we have forward collision mitigation, side collision warning, lane departure warning with steering intervention. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Active blind spot detection. Steering intervention, sure, we'll turn that on as well. I think that's enough talking about the interior here. Yes, it's gorgeous. It's everything you expect a $150,000+ large crossover to be. So let's see how well this does on public roads, and then maybe we'll try something else out with it. On the freeway, this seating is just superb. I have massage units that I can enable with a push of a button over here. I can also, once I hit that button, turn it on, turn it off, turn it back on again, I get just a huge assortment, if it's not thinking I'm trying to do the radio, a huge assortment of different settings, which is really neat. It's not just a massage unit, it is a customizable massage unit. So the seats are supremely comfortable. Not a lot of side bolstering, but they are soft, supple, and they really feel great to my back. I could really see myself putting in thousands of miles with one of these, that's for sure. But if you are going to drive 1,000 miles or so, you really want to be able to, have a vehicle that can help minimize work that you have to do on the trip. And one of the best things for that is adaptive cruise control with lane centering. Let's see how good this one is. Now, I will say this is one of the coolest displays because it shows me little icons, like that even shows me that's a big truck there on the right. And it is. That's so cool. Okay, geeking out a little bit here. So I'm going to toggle that on, turn on assisted driving. There are two different drive modes, assisted and regular. When it's assisted, it's now targeting the vehicle in front of me. It's showing a ghost of the Xterra to my left. And if I take my hands off the wheel, how well will it steer? It's a little bouncy. I would say that Subaru is better, the Hyundai is better, but this is definitely serviceable. It's a little less certain than some other systems, but it does a pretty good job of keeping in the middle. It's not like the Honda system that kind of bounces back and forth. So that's good, considering this vehicle is, close to 160 grand. These systems will get smarter. First, they have to be able to see and recognize what is around us, though, and this is a step in that direction. They just need to work on the logic a little bit, kind of fine tweak it a little bit more, I think. And then I can easily make incremental changes to the adaptive cruise control by doing a hard chonk, and that does 5s, or I do it lightly, and it'll do 1s. So neat. There are a few different drive modes here. There's Sport, Comfort, and Adaptive, and then each of these also has a subsection. So Sport, you get both Standard Plus and Individual, and then Comfort, you also get Standard and Plus. And Plus, I love it. They call it the extremely comfortable position. And it is. This air suspension is like riding on a cloud. It is just such a pleasure. You mix that with the seat massagers, it is like rolling heaven. But can it scoot like a bat out of hell? That's the next test. I'm going to go ahead and switch it into Sport Plus, which is the extra dynamic setting. what it does is the vehicle then hunkers, whoa, that throttle's touchy. What it does is it hunkers the vehicle down. It then also gives optimum output on the engine, transmission, steering input. Everything is optimized for more razor's edge driving. But it's still not an aggressive beast. It has power, it has strength, but it's not like it's going to get up and bite you. This never really feels like a sports car, and I have to appreciate that because it's not. It's a big honkin' SUV. There's no reason to make this feel like it's an M5. There just isn't. You want an M5? You get an M5. But what I do appreciate is how it has a unique character all of its own. It's like a large, powerful beast that is supremely comfortable when cornering. So even though I'm in sport mode, the air suspension is still smoothing out all the irregularities in the road and making it, again, still very comfortable. Yet I do a slight tap on the throttle. What? And I alter the Earth's rotation because Alpina. Man, that twin turbo V8, oh, it's such a cool thing up there. It's kind of funny that it does have paddle shifters, kind of. They're actually paddle buttons, which apparently is a throwback to Alpinas of the past. I find them kind of useless. I mean, having to fiddle for these tiny little buttons just doesn't make it a very engaging experience. But that's okay, because the 8-speed automatic transmission does just a fine job shifting when it needs to. So there's no muss or fuss with this thing. And if I want to, I can always gate over left and then pick my gears. But again, that's not really the character of this large vehicle. Let's try a 0 to 60. And yeah, this does have launch control. To set it up, we just go to Sport Plus. And then I think I have to hold down traction control, turn that off. So dynamic traction control activated. I push down the brake as hard as I can. I push down the throttle. 3, 2, 1, let go. What the mother of God? 4.55 seconds. 4.55. In a huge SUV. That's nuts. Oh man, I love it. Let's try it again to see if that's just a one-off or if we can do it, well, again. This time I have set DSC completely off in a Sport Plus mode, and we'll see if that varies the output at all. Brake all the way down, throttle in, 3, 2, 1, go. Jeez! Yikes! 4.43 seconds! It only gets faster! Now it is interesting, I'm not actually getting launch control displayed in my display, but it definitely is acting like it is launch control. It's preloading those turbos, it's holding the brakes hard, so I'm just going to assume that that was actually launch control. If there is yet another layer of launch control in this thing, like a proper launch control where it comes up on the display, gives a waving flag and all that, then it's even faster. Okay, and on the forest road here, we're going to go ahead and switch into Comfort Plus, and let's just feel the comfort come on. Like, it's just making the bumpy road go away. Potholes, no big deal. This vehicle sorts it out. Oh, so nice. Now, we're not going to get too Larry with this today because these are big 23-inch gorgeous Alpina rims. A, I don't want to scratch them. B, I don't want to get a puncture and have to call for help. So we're just going to tiptoe as delicately as possible up to the test site. Just crawling along, Comfort Plus. I've raised the suspension. Oh, we could actually raise it one more notch. Let's do that as we encounter the first obstacle. Now, the biggest concern I have here isn't the all-wheel drive system. It is the fact that these are 23-inch Alpina 20-spoke wheels with Pirelli P0 tires on it. P0s are a summer performance tire. There's like no sidewall here. There's no Kevlar reinforcement. It's kind of asking for a flat. So let's hope we don't get one because there is no spare tire in this vehicle. I'm gonna straddle the sharp rocks, put one wheel up on the left, one on the right. I don't know how high this gets with the air suspension because BMW doesn't publish that data. It does appear, though, it is rather high, so I would guess that it's at least 9 inches here. Of course, I'm still gesturing music here with my hand. Okay, got through that, no problem. Didn't expect that to be an issue, but still, very happy we've made it this far. Of course, the real challenge is right ahead. Let's set this up. There's not really a lot we can do here because there is no off-road mode per se on this. However, I can make sure that I'm at the highest suspension setting by pushing this button here. Make sure I'm in Comfort Plus, and I think I am ready to go. Now, I want to keep that camera on too, so I might have to re-enable it. So again, I am just crawling because of these wheels and tires. I should have more than plenty of ground clearance. There is no underbody protection on this though, because it is not intended for this. However, this will give us a little insight into how the all-wheel drive system works. And that is applicable, of course, to snow, mud, stuff that you probably would drive with this vehicle. So this is the really telling moment right here. This wheel and this wheel are going to lose traction completely. They're going to be like a little bit of a teeter-totter. And we're going to see how this system responds. There, I think we're mostly teetering. I'm stopping completely because I want to challenge the system. And add throttle. Oh, it just drives out of it. Now, one advantage the X7 has, the XB7, is that it is a rear-wheel drive-based platform. So when you're going up a hill, all of the weight is back on the tire that you really want to be able to push it up. And that was one of the least interesting sections we've ever done there. And we continue our climb. It's just kind of more of the same, but I have to be really careful around these rocks. Let's get that camera back on so I can kind of see what's going on up ahead here. There's a couple big rocks I want to make sure I don't scratch the side of the wheel against. But as far as this all-wheel drive system is concerned, it's transparent and it works. Like, no slipping. With tires that are basically summer tires. Not basically, these are summer tires. These are very much summer tires, which means it has very little grip. And it's doing it effortlessly. Now there's one more feature to test here, and that is hill descent control, which this vehicle is equipped with. Now it's interesting, the Mercedes-Benz GLE 63S, the AMG model, is not equipped with a hill descent control, though you can get it on lower models. I'm glad to see that BMW Alpina included it here. Okay, so let's put that on hill descent control. What's it do? Oh, it puts a little graphic there. Is that supposed to turn green at some point? Oh, it just enabled. Oh, and then I can set the speed. 2 miles per hour. Can I go down to 1? No, 2. 2 is its crawl gear. Oh, I still want that front camera on though. It keeps turning that off on me. Oh, so good. Yeah, honestly, I've never taken an X7 off-road and my expectations were, but this thing is really capable. You put some all-terrains on this, put some underbody protection, and you're running with some really good cars. Just make sure you're not rolling on supremely expensive 23-inch wheels. Yeah. I am tapping the brake just a little bit. So that's my look at the 2021 BMW Alpina XB7. It is a phenomenal vehicle if this is the kind of thing that you want. However, definitely don't take it off-road unless you kit it appropriately. But on the street as it is, oh, it is the chef's kiss. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthat. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share our videos. We have a lot of stuff coming up and you won't want to miss it. We'll see you again right here next week.